Hi all. This tutorial will cover three key objectives. First, installing Eclipse with PHP as your integrated development environment, or IDE. Second objective is installing XAMP. This acts as your local web server. And lastly, we will start a very basic PHP project. All right, so first of all, we'll cover Eclipse. Eclipse is your integrated development environment, so you'll be learning about this in class, but basically we will download Eclipse from the web and install it just like you would pretty much any software application that you're running on your machine. You'll have the option, depending on your operating system, which one to download and install. So the first thing that you'll do is you'll go to the Eclipse Foundation website. You can navigate to the downloads, or you can use this direct link here. Basically, Eclipse IDE has kind of a lot of different flavors. So if you're working with Java or other languages, you can get like an Eclipse version of, for those specific languages. But in our class, for our purposes, we'll be focusing on PHP. So we want the Eclipse IDE for PHP developers, which is shown here. So just go ahead and download for whatever operating system you're running. And once the package is finished downloading, you can run the installer like you normally would. And depending on which operating system you're running on, your Eclipse UI might look slightly different, but it should look pretty much the same. This is the latest version running on Mac. If I open Eclipse, I can go to File, New, and create a new PHP project. Okay, so we're going to switch gears a little bit and focus on XAMP now. This will be largely a similar process to downloading and installing Eclipse, but XAMP will give us our local web server, essentially. So it's going to contain Apache, the web server. It's going to contain the database, if we want to use that, and it will also allow us to run PHP, so it's going to contain PHP. So this will be the environment that will largely resemble a hosted web server, and we can work with our PHP projects through XAMP. Okay, so head over in your browser to apachefriends.org. There you will be able to read a little bit about XAMP and what it is, what the different components are that are available. It's a pretty robust solution for creating a local web server that you can develop on. Some of the features like MariaDB and Perl we won't directly use, but they're there if you want to use them in the future. We're going to focus on Apache and PHP primarily. You should really watch the introduction video. It's a really quick, like 1.5 minute video that'll give you a really nice overview of downloading, installing, and then looking at some of the features of XAMP. So I encourage everyone to do that before you take any further steps. And then once you're ready and you kind of have an idea of what you're going to be doing and what you're going to be working with, go ahead just a little bit lower down on that screen to the download. And just like Eclipse, you're going to want to select for your operating system and then follow the next couple of prompts to get it downloaded and installed on your local machine. Okay, so at this point, you should have Eclipse installed and running on your local machine. And you should also have XAMP installed and running on your local machine. Now we will look at a really simple PHP project and how to work with a PHP file in Eclipse, and then also be able to interact with it in the browser that is made possible by using XAMP. To start, open up XAMP. You should see your main functionality dialog or your admin panel. Click on the General tab and click Start. This will start the Apache and MySQL services that you can see under the Services tab. Also make sure you see the green light next to Status. And then also go to Application button and click that, and this will take you to your local web application homepage. Without going into too much technical detail, you can see on this web application homepage your local IP address, as well as some other features that are useful that we'll go more into later, having to do with managing your application. Okay, so now what you're going to want to do is add your PHP application, or in this simple example, we have one PHP file, just called our hello world.php. Basically, this can sort of act as a single page application, or one PHP file that we're going to be able to work with, shown here in Eclipse. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we save this file into the proper directory in XAMP, which is also shown here. And then if we view the file in our local development environment, we can see that we can now browse it, and the PHP is executing as it would on a hosted web server. So feel free to pause the video and rewind and go back to certain areas that you may be stuck at or you want to learn a little bit more about. Otherwise, at this point, you should have Eclipse installed, XAMP installed, and even maybe have a basic Hello World PHP file running in your browser.